to war. All through the streets, see the face of fear on everyone you meet.
Ladies and gentlemen, feds and degenerates and cuckolds of all ages, welcome to Mild's Culture Plate. I am your host, Mild Kevin Miles, and it is Saturday, September 6th, 2025, and you're locked in for 2 hours of news and entertainment. This is going to be kind of one of the first of these sort of rough shows where I don't really do a whole lot of show prep anymore, but hey, the show must go on. So we're going to get into some news stories. I do have a few things prepared that I wanted to talk about, some important viral things happening on the interweb, and we'll get into some various topics and some things that are going viral. But first, let me just take a moment and just kind of give you a little bit of an update. Come on in, by the way. Come on in. Say hello in the chat. Click that thumbs up button. We got Shoban over on YouTube. Good seeing you. Good seeing you. Cheers and welcome. Good seeing you. Let's get you a... Let's get a... Oh, shit.
Oh, shit. Here we go again.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, first off, obviously the football team that I enjoy that has been very dominant the past several years has now lost their fifth straight game. So uh, go NFL. Anyway, uh, yeah, the Chiefs lost. Their number one wide receiver went down with a shoulder injury, collided with Travis Kelsey last night. Crazy, crazy, crazy happenings, and they just couldn't recover after that. Couldn't get down the field. Anyway, so there's that. But we're gonna get into some other sports related stuff later in the show. I mean, I understand a lot of my audience, they're not into sports, but we're not gonna be covering sports from a sports angle. We're gonna be covering the latest in viral clips and how quickly it went viral, and sort of the dangers of the human condition and human behavior and the way people act in public. We'll get into some of that. We'll get into a couple different stories where people are in desperate need of civics lessons. We'll be, oh no, oh no, what is this? Well, we'll get into this too. Da, da, da. Sorry, I'm still kind of scrolling the Twitterverse. I've got several things bookmarked from throughout the week that we can get into. We'll get into the Department of War. Yeah, we'll get into the baseball thing, and we'll get into the young lady who was massacred on a Charlotte transit train, and yeah, and we'll get into some interesting developments with some protesters, and we'll get into tax on tips. In fact, let me go ahead and open up another link to this real quick, just so it doesn't get lost in the shuffle. Sorry, hate doing this stuff live, but should we do some RFK clips? I know you folks have probably seen just about all the entertaining stuff yesterday. It was pretty much covered by every live streamer I follow. Uh, we could also potentially get into the James O'Keefe versus Kyle Seraphin saga. They've been battling it out on the Twitter and in court depositions, which James O'Keefe has shared with us now on the internet. Um, so yeah, there's plenty of stuff we could cover, but I don't want to go for just literally reading my Twitter feed. Let's start off by going to the New York Post and seeing what this is all about. South Carolina death row inmate Stephen Bixby says that the judges are ruled by Satan as he tries to avoid execution. As judge considers arguments from prosecutors and defense attorneys over whether delusional beliefs about the legal systems are enough to keep a South Carolina prisoner from being executed, the inmate himself decided to weigh in with his own handwritten legal papers. Just weeks before Stephen Bixby was set to die earlier this year, the state Supreme Court stopped his execution and asked a lower court to evaluate if his lawyers are unable to defend him because of his beliefs. Bixby holds that, like most laws are unconstitutional, that citizens have an absolute right to defend their property to death, and the judges who rule against him are guided by Satan. Bixby, 58 years old, was convicted of the 2003 killing of two police officers who came to his Abbeville home to discuss a dispute between the family and a construction crew that had come to widen the road. His parents were also charged with the murder and have since died, but Bixby remains on death row. His lawyers argued at a hearing last month that he's so convinced the current U.S. legal system is unconstitutional and wrong that he refuses to share information they need to help him avoid the death penalty, death chamber. Prosecutors countered that Bixby's anti-government beliefs. This is. I mean, look. I want to say I'm not a risk to government employees, but this totally sounds like how I'm going to go out. Bixby's anti-government beliefs are not his own individual delusions and are shared by others, and that he understands very well why the state wants to put him to death. The late August hearing ended with Circuit Judge R. Scott Sprouse giving Bixby 10 minutes to speak and promised a ruling in 30 days, but Bixby wasn't done. A little over a week later, Bixby's handwritten motion was submitted with dozens of phrases like miscarriage of justice, law demands, and reversal of conviction underlined. Judge Sprouse gave me 10 minutes to address the court. Thanks, Bixby wrote sarcastically, asserting that the Constitution allows someone accused of a crime to be fully heard either on their own or through their lawyer. The unconstitutional shrinks were given unlimited psychobabble time to their subjective, unsubstantiated conjecture of theories not based on facts, Bixby wrote. The Bixby was out of regular appeals and weeks away from an execution date when the Supreme Court stepped in with a 3-2 ruling in March. Justices said that while Bixby could be considered competent to be executed under federal law because he can link his crime and punishment and knows why he faces the death penalty, but state law requires an additional finding that condemned inmates to be rationally communicate with their attorneys. Chopin, what did Coldplay's Chris Martin do now? And yeah, they're after him now. Look, I'm not saying he didn't do nothing wrong, right? But I'm kind of sympathetic to his arguments here. Both sides presented experts at last month's hearing. One called Bixby's lawyers and said the isolation of prison has only made his beliefs worse and that Bixby's stuck in a mindset that never grew. An expert for the state said that while his might make him what might make him a difficult client, his beliefs probably. It doesn't make Bixby impossible to defend, and he views himself in some ways as a martyr ready to die for what he believes in. Bixby's motion uses legal phrases but provide no reasoning accepted by judges before. I've proven, and the prosecution is admitted through omission and admission under Rule 24A and 55.2 of the charges against them since 12503, to whom it may concern the letter. The Bixby's total innocence set me free, he writes. Bixby shot Abbeville County Deputy Danny Wilson as the officer knocked on the front door of his parents' home in December 2003, a day after they threatened the road crew, authorities said. They dragged Wilson's dying body inside and restrained him with his own handcuffs, then killed State Constable Donnie Oust as he and other officers rushed to the home after realizing Wilson had been missing for an hour. That led to a 12-hour standoff as officers and the Bixbys fired hundreds of bullets at each other, investigators said. At the August hearing, Bixby spent part of his speaking time saying Wilson was killed because he was trying to take the family's land. I'm just tired of this tragedy. This is all over them wanting to steal my parents' property, Bixby said. In his motion to the court, Bixby suggested the judge would commit treason if he doesn't stop his execution and set him free. I am an innocent man. Let freedom ring and let those committing treason swing, Bixby wrote. Like Jefferson, I am standing on principle even if I stand alone. I mean, the man has principles. The man has principles. You got to give him that. You got to give him that. And he's standing on principles. And hey, he truly believes they were coming to take his shit. And the fact that they had, utility workers working on the street in front of his home, I'm sure seemed like evidence of that. Sorry, just kind of browsing the New York Post while we were here. Dear Lord. So yeah, obviously, we talked a little bit about vaccines on the Wednesday show, And obviously that was the media, the mainstream media, and the leftist media establishment, definitely trying to get their jabs in preparation for whatever was going to happen at the committee hearing on Thursday. Was it Thursday? I think it was Thursday. Yeah, that was some crazy stuff, that committee hearing. And obviously, they're pulling out all the stops to make Bobby Kennedy look crazy. And now the media has had their turn. I guess you've got Bill Maher, several other talk show hosts coming out to smear him. All right, let's get into our big stories of the day. Looks like we're going to get slow rolling with the views today. Shaban says, "Yeah, he knows they're skeletons. They hate him. Good for him. He's exposing them." Yeah, I might have to bring up some of that. Let me look over on. Yeah, let's do this one here. This is over on Fox News. I've seen this being all over Twitter, or X, all over X all day. Everyone's sharing this. JD Vance clashes with anti-Trump social media personality over cartel killings. I don't give a shit. Okay, so JD Vance pushed back against anti-Trump social media personality Saturday after he criticized a post the vice president made. The clash between Vance and Brian Krasenstein began when Vance wrote that, quote, "Killing cartel members who poison our fellow citizens is the highest and best use of our military." So yeah, a lot of people were trying to claim it was unconstitutional for Trump to issue the strike on the Venezuelan boats. Here we go. Vance made the remark following a military strike against an alleged drug-laden Venezuelan boat in the southern Caribbean. Officials said 11 suspected Tren de Aragua narco terrorists were killed on Tuesday. When Krasenstein responded that the killing of citizens of another nation who are civilians without any due process is called a war crime. Vance told him, "I don't give a shit what you call it." Krasenstein later claimed that Vance should be impeached for this tweet. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth, which we'll get into that a little later, Secretary of War, told Fox and Friends, "It's a new day. It's a different day. This is an activity the U.S. is not going to tolerate in our hemisphere." Hegseth described the strike as a hit against a narco-terrorist organization that aims to poison the U.S. with illicit drugs. President Trump shared footage of the fiery explosion, declaring that the strike should serve as notice to anyone attempting to traffic narcotics into the U.S. He also emphasized that no U.S. forces were harmed in the operation. President later confirmed the blast occurred in the U.S. Southern Command area of responsibility, where the alleged terrorists were in international waters transporting narcotics to the U.S. It won't stop, or it won't stop with just this strike. Anyone else trafficking in those waters, we know who is a designated narco terrorist, will face the same fate, and it's important for the American people to protect our homeland and protect our hemisphere, Pete Hegseth said. So there you have it. Shaban says application of the Constitution where it doesn't apply, and then people who want to kill us and who have tried running other countries under our Constitution. I mean, what the fuck? I mean, that's just it. It's Tren de Aragua, and at some point when Tren de Aragua has been declared a terrorist organization, and we still have the military authorization of the global war on terror. I don't think that has ever been repealed by Congress. I think it's kind of. I think it's kind of. Hey, you can't complain when it's reapplied. Okay, so there's been this. Let me do it this way. Sorry, just need to get another tab ready because there's multiple tabs to this next story. So, Mike Cernovich, Aesthetica, and Nick Sortor have been talking a little bit about Indian money flowing through big X accounts. We got this tweet from Nick Sortor. Beware, large accounts are being paid to attack Trump's tariffs on India to their MAGA audience. Posts with the exact same talking points went out at practically the exact same time, and of course, no disclosure. Many of these accounts are foreigners, don't fall for this crap. So you have this community notes and violations, who I follow. I follow most of these accounts that are mentioned in these next couple of. Let me just do something real quick. I need to go back to my grok for a second and find a little more here. Sorry about that. Okay. And then you have Aesthetica compiling a few more. You have this Chuck Calesto. CCP would love for America to waste energy pressuring countries that aren't a threat. Don't take the bait. Stand strong. Keep the pressure where it belongs in the regime to actively working to undermine America's future. Election Wizard. The fake news is trying to paint India as an enemy. Why? Don't buy into their excuse me. Don't buy into their swamp tactics. If we make them an enemy, they will fall into the hands of the CCP. So it's all Chinese propaganda, according to these people who are spreading Indian propaganda. Oh, here we go. The CCP, Gunther Eagleman. The CCP runs illegal surveillance ops, floods the U.S. market with subsidized spyware, steals military and tech secrets. India buys oil legally. India loves Trump. That's why the mainstream media is going after them. Let's not waste time pretending they're the enemy because India participates in the free market neutrally. And then American Ianon Patriot here. India isn't the problem. Pushing them toward China's alliance is. We're alienating a partner. India's always loved Trump. Don't let the mainstream media trick us into thinking India is an enemy. So India. India is so good. India good. We love India. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Hang on. Getting right back to you, folks. All right. Now, I mean, look, let me do something real quick. Let me go. I'm going to put my little ticker over here for the PsyOps thirst trap shit posts and grifts because that's what we're talking about here. Quite frankly, any time you start seeing these sort of unified narratives uh, being promoted by a bunch of big accounts all at the same time, definitely question it. I mean, I fall into that trap. I really do. Because it's impossible to know. It's impossible to know what's an outrage that everyone shares versus what's being linked to at once. Now this was pretty easy to sniff out because I mean, after all, a lot of right wingers are not down with the unchecked immigration, even the legal immigration. Mhm. So apparently, a lot of this began. So we've got this from Aesthetica here. I've heard from 4 independent sources that Ryan Fournier is the person who set up the India campaign. According to sources, he approaches conservative influencers to join his paid propaganda group, citing access to some of the top MAGA influencers on X like DC Drano, Gunther Engelman, Juanita Broderick. Then he approaches interest groups claiming to have done projects for CFG, AFP, and other DC groups. So he works as a money middleman. And then you have Elijah Schaffer having posted this that kind of started it all off. The shocking truth about who's really cashing in on Russian oil. Indian companies were, if Indian companies were really raking in excess profits, the refining margins would show it. And so basically, he's questioning whether or not we should be tariffing India, which is, it's fine for someone to question it. That doesn't mean they're taking money. But the fact that then that got springboarded into all these, not just conservative influencers, but also Indian propaganda accounts, kind of running with that as, oh, yeah, we need to be more scared of China and Russia than India making oil profits off of Russia in the middle of this whole war. I mean, this is a rabbit hole we could go down way further. I guess that was posted to the Gateway Pundit. And so, this rabbit hole goes down quite a bit far. Will Sommer says Elijah's always been passionate about profit margins in the Indian oil industry. I think he's being sarcastic there. But I think the bigger issue is with the tariffs. Oh, look at this. Indians are organized on a telegram called Team Banner X Army and mass reporting any accounts that speak against their fraud. Everyone associated with this should be looked into and banned from X. Huh. And then you have Team Banner X. Pro of X to fight against troll and harassment. So, yeah, just another mass report harassment campaign. I always love going on some sort of deeper dives every once in a while. Anyway, that was Grok kind of giving me links to some of the deeper dive of it. Let me go ahead and read you more of what Grok had to say about the Elijah Schaffer tie here. Why it's suspicious. Schaffer, a prominent conservative podcaster and Gateway Pundit contributor known for anti-immigration and anti-India rhetoric, calling Indians scammers, and Vivek, a radioactive H-1B promoter, has a history of harshly criticizing India. Recent posts from him include fuck anyone who praises or supports India and labeling pro India voices as biohazards. Critics pointed out the mismatch, suggesting that it was ghost written or paid for by the India lobby without disclosure, violating FARA rules. Screenshots were first highlighted in Chamberlain's post, which we showed there. Users like Ale Jacobi and Drew Pavlu accused Schaefer of foreign influence, joking that he's paid by Russia or needs to register under FARA. Others like Bricksuit analyzed the vocabulary as evidence of external authorship. Some speculated that Ryan Fournier coordinated it, tying it to the larger grift. So I don't know. It depends on how you feel about Elijah Schaefer. I don't think he's the type to do that, but I could be fucking wrong. I have no idea. Let's see here. Mm-hmm. Sorry about that. I'm just kind of trying to prep one of the future stories we're going to do later in the show here. I do have some things that we didn't get into on Wednesday. Let me see if I can bring some of those up. Kind of do a little bit of a slow burn here on the show here. Oh, I wanted to bring that up too, damn it. Well, maybe I shouldn't dilly-dally much more because yeah, we do have an hour and a half and I've got a couple of rants I'm wanting to do. I could get into that. No, we already did that. Okay, I think we're good. I think we're good. I may or I may not get into the O'Keefe and Sortor thing. Or Seraphin rather. O'Keefe and Seraphin thing. All right, let's do this. So we'll get into the people who need a civics lesson. Let me go ahead and bring off the psyops, thirst trap, shitposts, and grifts because we're done with that segment. All right. So one of the people I follow as a libertarian, there's a young lady on X who's a pretty huge Thomas Massey supporter, Ron Paul supporter, an In the Fed supporter, Natalie F. Danielson. And, I've always kind of felt like she likes to post a lot of images of herself in busty outfits. And I've always kind of felt like that's sort of tasteless, but sort of okay. Yeah, it is what it is. Also, I kind of feel like she's also one of the type of people who takes those kind of pictures from certain angles that hide certain things about herself. So before I get into this, take of that what you will. I don't know how many horny dudes are going to see this stream. Just understand, yeah, she likes to do the horny posts, but she may or may not be worth being that horny over, depending on if you dig a little deeper under the surface, and gets a lot of criticism for that. But she's a big libertarian activist, big Thomas Massey supporter, and so she touched on an issue, uh, something that was brought up in the New York Post this week, an issue that we care about a lot here at Miles Culture Plate, and that is the fact that because we don't have term limits for our congressional representation, We tend to get a lot of old people, especially in the Senate. And the New York Post put this out. Oldest member of Congress, 88-year-old Democrat, is seeking re-election and will not step aside. So let's go ahead and click this link. Eleanor Holmes Norton seeking re-election and is not going to step aside. I say that my seniority is what is very important, and I'm not going to step aside. Norton, a non-voting delegate representing D.C. Born in 1937 and has served as a member of the House since 1991, has sparked recent concern among friends and colleagues who feel that she's experienced a notable mental decline in recent years, New York Times reported. Refusal to retire by the longtime advocate of home rule in D.C. is all the more pressing as her district has come under the direct control of the Trump administration, but also follows a trend among aging congressional Democrats. The issue came into the spotlight when Jerry Nadler, at 78, is 10 years younger than Norton, announced this week that he's finally throwing into the towel, citing the need for a generational change in the party. Watching Biden step aside for Kamala Harris really said something about the necessity for a generational change in the party. He told the New York Times and wants to respect that. Okay, so Eleanor Holmes Norton at 88. New York Post has a little bit of an error here, according to Natalie Danielson, because they say oldest member of the House. Okay, so the headline on Twitter is oldest member of Congress. See the difference? Oldest member of the House, oldest member of Congress. Well, Natalie Danielson took exception to this incorrect information and said the oldest member of Congress is 92-year-old Senator Chuck Grassley. And then, yeah, she's the oldest member of the House. Congress is the House and the Senate, you dipshits. Fix your headline. Now, how do you think the internet took her correction? Congress is both the House and the Senate. Since when? You know what? I think she was posting. Let's see if we can find this live. Oh yeah, here we go. Here's the actual thread. Chuck Grassley isn't in Congress. Congress is both the House and the Senate. Since when? March 4th, 1789. There's the House of Representatives and there's the Senate. And then she says collectively called Congress. Most people call that Congress and the Senate. Most people are stupid. I mean, people need a civics lesson. People need a civics lesson. Yes, a lot of times as shorthand in the media, we have colloquially called the House of Representatives. We've shorthand used it. We've called it Congress. But the actual Congress is both chambers. And to get technical, the House of Representatives, those people are called representatives, not congressmen, congresswomen. We use that as a shorthand. Shaban says, yeah, what I've been saying, the media treats them separately. It's weird. Well, yeah. But this is part of the big scam, right? This is part of the whole, the fact that the Senate's not elected by the state anymore. It's elected by popular vote amongst the state. You don't have the state legislatures electing the senators now. So they just think it's all hell, I don't know. But that's why these same idiots will complain that like California and Rhode Island get the same number of senators because they don't understand that the House the House is divided by population, the Senate's divided by state because they're representing the state. They just don't get it because they don't care to look. Yeah, Shaban says, I really would like to get away from all the dumb. Yeah, we're just getting started with all the dumb. Because we're kind of talking about Congress here and old people in Congress. But look, I'm going to go ahead and go into the next story. Old people in Congress. And by the way, this is the title, the story from the title of the stream here. Old people in Congress are not immune from being this fucking dumb. As we found out yesterday from Senator Tim Kaine of Virginia. Now, what he's about to talk about is government's role in protecting your rights. Now, listen to what he says. Now, folks, if you've been following me for any period of time, you know that I read the preamble, I read the Constitution, I read the Declaration of Independence on this stream all the time, especially on all the important holidays. We'll be doing the Constitution Day. We'll be doing the whole preamble as we tend to do, uh, if I remember, every year. But yeah. So listen to what Kaine here says about your rights and government's role in your rights.
The notion that rights don't come from laws and don't come from the government, but come from the creator, that's what the Iranian government believes. It's a theocratic regime that bases its rule on Shia law and targets Sunnis, Baha'is, Jews, Christians, and other religious minorities. And they do it because they believe that they understand what natural rights are from their creator. So the statement that our rights do not come from our laws or our governments is extremely troubling. The notion that rights...
Extremely troubling. Look, I get what he's trying to say. There's an aspect of what he's saying that has kind of a noble thought to it. And let me back out of this a little bit because I myself kind of got into it with somebody on X about this, and I want to go ahead and bring that up real quick. Where did it go? Okay. I get what he's saying, right? He's saying that, yeah, rights really don't mean anything. Now, I disagree with him, but what he's saying is rights really don't mean anything if government's not willing to restrain itself and secure those rights. Like you could have all the God-given rights in the world, but then every time you go to exercise those rights, you get executed, jailed, imprisoned, deported, etc., etc. Then you don't have those rights. You ultimately don't have those rights. Those rights were given to you by God and revoked by government. So therefore, if you don't have a government willing to respect those rights, then it doesn't matter. And so what kind of started off as that belief has quickly evolved into no, government is the source and guarantor of those rights, and therefore government should decide what a right is. And now you have the extremist, uh, progressive belief that everything from healthcare to abortion to you know, you name it, we call Medicare, food stamps. These are all rights now. They're not entitlements. They're rights to these people. Oh yeah, the right to get married, by the way. Not just marry, but marry whoever or whatever you fucking want is a right because government can grant it. Doesn't matter that marriage is a blessing. That the whole point of marriage is taking an oath to a greater power, hoping for a blessing, that the commitment you're about to embark is going to be one of mutual understanding and mutual uh, effort and reward. Nope, nope, nope. That oath is to the government because Lord knows it's government who would provide you with that incentive to make it work and make it rewarding. Anyway, so we had these idiots on the internet. Idiots on the internet. Again, don't harass any of these people. Don't go find these people. Please leave these people alone. They're not worth talking to. They're obviously so dumb, and I've already owned them here. You got this Amor Avhad who is a blue check mark, so he's paying for Twitter. Why are you guys always complicating things with your politics? Talking about our rights don't come from the Constitution and amendments? We get it, but here's an example to simplify. Marijuana grows naturally, but I don't have a right to grow it. Simple. And I replied. And look, there was actually another person here who says, correct. God said you can't grow marijuana, but God's apparently cool about you owning a gun and being a pedophile. Did I get that right, Mike Johnson? Because this was a reply to Mike Johnson. And so here's me. You absolutely have the right to grow it. You have a God given ability to grow marijuana. So, therefore, because God gave you that ability, you do have the right to do it. But government can choose not to recognize, enable, or secure that right. And you, as a voter, can change or abolish that government. Read the damn Declaration of Independence. And let's go to the Declaration of Independence. Okay, as we do every 4th of July, we jump into this here. All men are created equal, endowed by their creator with certain inalienable rights that among these, see, this isn't a complete list, but among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That to secure these rights, government secure, not grant, secure. They don't grant the rights, they secure the rights that God has already given you. To secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. Now here's the important part. The consent of the governed. The government is not an institution of God. I understand there's Romans 13. There's all these Bible thumpers out there who believe, especially there are a lot of MAGA supporters who believe that Donald Trump, by the mere act of being elected, he's been granted a mission from God that God would not allow these tyrants to be elected. Bullshit. The devil works in politics way more than God does. God gives us the power of free will to do what we will with it, and we vote these people in. Whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it and institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its power in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. So yeah, government can say, yeah, fuck your God-given right to grow marijuana. I don't support growing marijuana. I don't like growing marijuana. I know a lot of people who do, and I'm not trying to shit on any of y'all either. But government has the ability to make your rights illegal. We have a social contract with the government that they won't. But just like we have a social contract with the government that there won't be literal fucking pedophiles flying to Epstein Island, Little St. James Island, and raping children, sometimes you can't control what those people do with the consent and the power of the governed that you give the government. Sometimes they act in ways that are disgusting to God and disgusting to the Constitution. And when that happens, let's see, where is when that happens, look, go back up to the first paragraph here. When in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with one another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and nature's God entitle them. God gives you the power to separate your bands from the government. Now let's flash back. Now remember, that didn't work so well for Stephen Bixby, as we found out earlier in the show. Stephen Bixby thought the government was trying to take his family's property and decided to open fire on some police officers. Didn't work so well for him. But he's still fighting. I'm not saying he's right. I want to be on record saying I do not believe he's right. But these are your beliefs. It becomes necessary for a people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth a separate and equal station, the laws of nature and nature's God entitle them. You have a natural right to sever the political bands of government. So when some asshat on Twitter tells you that government doesn't guarantee that you don't have a right to marijuana because government doesn't guarantee that right. Hey, government has every ability to be tyrannical and to be repugnant to the Constitution. It's your right to decide whether or not to be afraid of that government or to just continue exercising the rights you believe that you have, the rights that God has granted you. God put marijuana on this earth. The government didn't. God made marijuana easy to grow under a certain amount of light, heat, and a little bit of intervention. So if you think if you think you should have the right to do it, maybe you do. But that gets us into this notion that I touched on earlier about how progressives want to conflate what the term rights means. And obviously, the definitions have changed. So, dictionary.com and Webster's, they're going to include the sub definitions that mean just about anything, right? They're going to include the progressive definition of rights. But ultimately, for you to have a right to something, either it was given by God or you've had to have been able to earn it through effort and exchange. Rights are not just given for free. They are not granted for free. They are it's like a muscle. It's like you have a muscle like your bicep. You have to exercise your ability or your right. Yeah, you have a right to health care. Why? Why do you have a right to health care? You have a right to health care because you have the capability under the freedom of association to communicate with a doctor. Your right to health care stops at the ability to communicate with a doctor. Government shouldn't have to find your doctor, pay for your doctor, ensure that you have a doctor. You, as a free individual, have the capability to seek out association with a healthcare provider and do what you will from that point on. But your right to healthcare stops there. Your right to life doesn't mean the entirety of society has to pay for your fucking life support and for your fucking food. Hey, we got great liquor in the chat over on Rumble. Cheers and welcome, good friend. I haven't seen you in a while. Yeah, Shaban, it doesn't seem like we have a right to proper medical care. Yeah, proper. Anyway, let's see. What are we going? Let's do. Let's give old Great Liquor the SpongeBob.
Thank you for your patronage.
There we go. Yeah, when you say proper, yeah, you don't. You have the freedom to find a doctor who's retarded, or you have the freedom to find a doctor who is, has some experience and education behind him. But again, you go through the Bill of Rights. So first you have the Declaration of Independence, which is life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Those are three things listed as rights in the Declaration of Independence. Government can't grant any of those things. They can secure them. The right to life just means, hey, we won't purposely murder you without due process. But, Bill of Rights. Okay? First Amendment. Freedom of religion, speech, press, assembly, and the petition to the government for grievance. Basically, essentially, this is all freedom of speech. The assembly and petition is also your ability to tell government to fuck off. It's an ability. It's God granted you as a human being with the ability to recognize that God exists, to speak out against your government, to report on the surroundings around you, to assemble with other human beings, and to tell government to fuck off. Hey, we got Sanglant86 in the chat over on Rumble. Good seeing you, Sanglant. Let's see. Let's give Sanglant the careless whisper. All right. Okay, Second Amendment, right to bear arms. Okay, without government intervening, you can pick up a weapon and defend yourself. God gave you that ability, the ability to pick up a weapon and defend yourself. Third Amendment, quartering of troops. Well, this goes with private property rights. It's your property. You can tell government to fuck off and stay the fuck out of your home. And then search and seizure, same thing. Now, the rest of these are about, essentially criminal law and common law. You can't be compelled. Fifth Amendment, you can't be compelled to be a witness against yourself. This goes back to the First Amendment. If you have the freedom to speak, you also have the freedom not to speak. And then having a jury of your peers. Well, that just means we're not just going to have people hired by the government judge you and sentence you. You have the freedom to associate with like-minded people and have like-minded people from your community to determine whether or not you're innocent or guilty of crimes. That is a right. That is something you can exercise. That government can choose whether or not they will violate or let you have. It requires government intervention for you not to be able to defend yourself to your community. Government has to intervene for that not to happen. In other words, it's an ability you, as a living, breathing human being put on earth by God, have the natural ability to do, barring government infringement. Eighth Amendment, same thing, cruel and unusual punishment. Again, it's something government would have to infringe upon. It's something you legally, you walk around on earth without being punished. And then, of course, the Ninth and 10th Amendment just basically say you have rights that the federal government has no business getting into. Anyway, so, I hate to do the civics lesson. I know most of the people who follow me, have no problem with these things. Y'all seem to kind of understand. But the fact that we have a sitting U.S. senator, a sitting fucking U.S. senator that wants to compare the belief in the Declaration of Independence, the founding principle of our nation, that rights are granted by our Creator, painted as some sort of religious fundamentalist terrorist belief. If you're from Georgia, vote this not Georgia, I'm sorry, Virginia. If you're from Virginia, vote this motherfucker out now. I don't know when he's up for re-election, but dear God, if there has ever been a single thing someone in Congress has said that has disqualified them from serving further, let it be that. And I'm going to play it one more time just because Great Liquor and Sanglant weren't here when I played it the first time. I'm going to go and play it one more time. Here's Senator Tim Kaine of Virginia, one more time, acting like your rights coming from anywhere but the government is an extremist, absurd thought.
The notion that rights don't come from laws and don't come from the government, but come from the creator, that's what the Iranian government believes. It's a theocratic regime that bases its rule on Shia law and targets Sunnis, Baha'is, Jews, Christians, and other religious minorities. And they do it because they believe that they understand what natural rights are from their creator. So the statement that our rights do not come from our laws or our governments is extremely troubling.
So yeah, if this motherfucker was alive in 1776, he would have licked the fucking boots of King George. All right, so we had let's get into the sports. The human behaviors around sports. Last week you had this incident happen at a Mets game where you had, I think it was either a home run ball or a foul ball that flew into the stands. You had these two guys kind of get into a tussle over the ball.
Kelsey comes in. Oh, guys fighting over the ball. Come on now.
Look, you could see the white guy had it, and then this guy here just kind of uses both hands to pry it from the wrist of this. I think it's a kid, white guy, scrawny guy.
Interesting. Kelsey comes in. Oh, guys fighting over the ball. Come on now.
Oh, wait a second. Give it to a kid.
Okay, yeah, it's a man. It's an adult man.
An old guy.
And look at him smiling. He's like, look, I got it. Oh, yeah, it's an old guy. Yeah, he wrestled it from an old guy. And so this kind of went around racist Twitter. It's like, look how savage and how shitty behavior has gotten, where, we've seen a number of these over the last few years, a number of these, people getting treated shitty at a baseball game, people getting treated shitty at a public event. Well, the whole damn internet went insane last night because we've had yet another one of these at the Phillies Marlins game in Florida last night. And yeah, we've had another one of these shitty behavior things. And let's go to the videotape. Okay, there's a home run ball. You see this guy coming in from the right, the guy wearing the red shirt, coming in from the right where he was sitting with his son. And then you have these folks, and it lands in the seats in front of them, and there's a little bit of a scrum. You can't really see their hands or where the ball is, but there's apparently a little bit of a tussle somewhere in there. And the guy in red comes up with it. And then he runs back to give the ball back to his child. Give the ball to his child. Meanwhile, you have this. I don't know what you call it. And then you have this person here He gives his son a hug. Kid's got a smile on his face. He's like, "Oh, well, yeah, man, I get to take home a home run ball from one of my favorite players." That's what America is right there. This is what America is. Singlet says, I was hoping for a battle royal over a dildo. Oh, yes. But this picture is what America was built on. This picture is the kind of thing that elected Donald Trump. Now, as you could see, the progress bar of the video down here, yeah, we're only a third of the way into the video. So let's see what happens next. What do you folks think happens next? Hey, white man, what are you doing? That was my ball. Meh, meh, meh. And actually, we have a closer video where we can hear the audio here in a second. He's like, fuck it. Fuck it, little Timmy. Give her the ball. Fuck. All right, all right. You see the way he did it? He's like, all right, all right. All right. So now let's get into the, there's a closer video that was on Barstool that's boom, here we go. All right, so it bounced off the black shirt guy's lap and landed in those seats, and he just reached over and snatched it.
Hey, get out of there!
Wait, somebody yelled fucking asshole. Was it her?
You asshole! You fucking asshole! Hey, get out of there!
That was ours. You took it from me. And hang on, it continues in this other video. That was in my hand. Bye. I mean, I don't see any evidence that it was actually in her hands. And you see the memes over here on the right. Everyone's comparing her to Elizabeth Warren, saying she looked like Elizabeth Warren, calling her Karen lesbian baseball fan, posting memes. And there's been a lot. Okay, the reason I'm bringing this up on the show, not only is it for proper baseball etiquette and just being a general better fucking human being. When you're at a sporting event, when you're really anywhere, but more importantly, when you're at a sporting event, or like one of my hobbies is going to theme parks, going to amusement parks, riding roller coasters. Well, one of the things that happens when I go, to amusement parks and ride roller coasters, there's a lot of children around, children having fun, children having a good time. They don't always follow the rules, right? They don't always, but they're having fun, right? I'm not gonna be a fucking Karen and snitch on every little fucking kid having fun. Now, when kids are being little pricks or thugs and pushing their weight around, yeah, I might get involved. But 99.9% of the time, I'm not going to get involved in a little kid having fun. Hey, we got Demon's Wrath over on Rumble. Wow. I go live an hour earlier, and all of a sudden I'm seeing all these people I haven't seen in a while. Cheers and welcome, friend. Good seeing you. Good seeing you. And welcome.
Welcome to Jurassic Park.
All right. Good seeing you. Good seeing you. All right. Yeah, this bitch needs her ticket punched. Well, we're going to get into that. We're going to get into karma here in just a minute, because we're not at the end of this story yet. But I did want to kind of go off on that little tangent that, look, when there's kids involved, you have to understand kids are impulsive. They're not always thinking about, they're not obsessing about, oh, who's in the right and who's in the wrong, and I need to always be in the right. Ooh, Demon's Wrath cooking some steak tonight. Oops. Demon's Wrath cooking some steak tonight. All right. That sounds good. That sounds really good. I had steak about a week and a half ago that I threw on the grill, and I'm probably going to do Culver's for dinner tonight. So yeah, I'm going to have to be hopping off right at the top of the hour. But, we did go live an hour earlier tonight. Okay, so let's do this. So there was one more video from the stands I wanted to show you. This was a little later in the evening. After she got her ball, and of course, people in the upper deck started letting her know what they felt about her. Oh, Sangland just took a steak out of the broiler. Y'all are lucky. So people in the upper deck are booing her. People up here are booing her. You have this. It looks like a Marlins staff member asked her if she would give it up. I can't confirm that, but there is a Marlins staff member standing here, and then she gets up and starts interacting with the people in the upper deck here.
Oh, shit.
Oh, no, she's interacting with this guy.
She took it from the little kid, bro.
She took it from the little kid, bro.
Get it, get it. Yeah.
And then these people are yelling at her. He's yelling at her.
The glasses are off. Karen is
The glasses are off. Karen. So you got her neighbors, people in the upper deck yelling at her, and she's flipping people off while holding the baseball with children around her. Obviously, a lovely human being. But you may wonder, what about the little kid? What happened to the little kid?
That's all the fans are very excited because the Marlins, what we caught on our, television screens on our cameras, guys, was a kid his home run ball being taken away from him. So the Marlins wanted to make sure that he had a little prize pack and some baseballs to make up for the incident that we caught a little bit earlier on our game. So you see the young man's very excited. He's got a baseball there for both himself and his sister, as well as a goodie bag full of
the Miami Marlins gave him
so again, really good to see.
A bag
the fans
of goodies
all around here in the outfield. They're cheering. They're very excited that this young man has been given a baseball.
There you go. See that?
Cool by the
that
Marlins.
included a baseball.
Let's cheer.
Okay, so there's that, and then the Philadelphia Phillies gave him an autographed baseball bat. So happy ending. Not just a happy ending, but one of the narratives I've seen all over the internet in the explosion of this news story is, why did the dad cuck, right? The dad cucked and gave her the ball. The dad should have just fucking stood up to her. Well, what was he supposed to do? Smack some white woman? Smacking a white woman never goes well. Sanglan says, what do you want to bet she tried to swipe the bag in the parking lot? Shoban says, God, I'm sick of greedy, gross people in public taking from kids. Yeah. What was he supposed to do? Smack around a white woman in the middle of a packed sports stadium? That wouldn't have gone over well. And quite frankly, if he had done that, his kid wouldn't have an autographed bat. His kid wouldn't have had a package from the Miami Marlins. full of sports goodies. I'd say, sometimes taking the fucking L leads to a bigger win. Just sometimes. All right, let's look into this. I just kind of ran across this earlier in the show. I was just kind of browsing through other shit, saw this headline, and thought, what the fuck? Movie and television star Charlie Sheen has opened up about his sexual encounters with men. Former Two and a Half Men star revealed he's had sex with men, which began when he started smoking crack. Oh my God. Let me guess. Larry Sinclair was involved. I flipped the menu over, Sheen reveals in his Netflix documentary. I'm not going to run from my past or let it own me. Liberating. It's fucking liberating just to talk about stuff. It's like a train that didn't come through the side of the restaurant. A fucking piano didn't fall out of the sky. No one ran into the room and shot me, he tells the interviewer about publicly addressing having sex with men. Sheen revealed that his first encounter happened while he was using heavy narcotics like crack, and he struggled to come to terms with his actions. These days, he's owning it. That's what started it. That's where it was born or sparked. And in whatever chunks of time that I was off the pipe trying to navigate that, trying to come to terms with it, where did that come from? Why did that happen? And then finally just being like, so what? So what? Some of it was weird. A lot of it was fucking fun, and life goes on. Sheen contracted HIV during a drug-fueled sexual encounter, which he shared on the Today Show in 2015. During the now decade-old broadcast, Sheen claimed he was a victim of exploitation and paid millions to those threatening to expose his diagnosis. He blamed his overnight guests, alleging they would see his medication, take photos, and shake him down for payment. I do know for a fact that I've never passed it on, Sheen says of his HIV. He told the outlet he was tired of hiding his sexual truth and was ready to write his own narrative. He doesn't see himself as a victim now. It takes two to tango, he shared. He does have one regret, capitalizing on his tiger blood meltdown. That tour didn't have to happen, he revealed. I'm not a victim, but somebody should have tapped out for me and said, this is a bad idea. I've combed through all the mental health manuals and I've never found exploitation as good treatment protocol. Sheen has spent 8 years making amends to those he hurt during his addiction battle. He's being a dad to his twin sons, Bob and Max. He doesn't worry about his sex life, which has slowed down since his boys have moved in. Demon's Wrath says, a hole's a hole, whether it's the holes in my brain or the hole in a man's butt. Sangon says Hollywood with the devil. And Shoban says Parmesan will do that to you. Oh, look. And yeah, my OBS has farted. Try getting my camera going again. There we go. So yeah, congratulations, Charlie Sheen, on, I don't know, taking it in your pooper. I mean, what do I say to that?
Why are you gay?
Okay. What else did we have here? I've kind of opened too many extra tabs. Bear with me, folks. Okay, so another story from last week that I didn't really touch on because I didn't think it was sort of relevant to the broader population out there, but I figured it'd be a good segue into the next story. Winning. Tiger Blood was peak. Yeah, he's not winning now, though. That's the issue. So I didn't touch on this last week, but it's something to talk about. It's one of Trump's wins. We could talk about it here. So digital content creators are among the occupations that the Treasury has deemed eligible for the no tax on tips deduction. They explicitly name streamers, influencers, and podcasters as illustrative examples. So here we go. Section 209, digital content creators produce, publish on digital platforms, original entertainment such as personality-driven content, such as live streams. Hell yeah. In fact, we're winning. Let's see. Where's my DJ horn here? Demons Wrath says, don't be cracked up. Chayat, and don't be methed up. Sangon says, DSP has won. Yeah, Shoban. Everybody's talking about black fatigue. I have a couple of other fatigues. I think, but this is, look, okay, before I get into the tax on tips stuff, let me address this. Yes, but it's part of the problem. We're all becoming sociopaths. We're all becoming so disconnected from one another because we're all becoming fatigued of each other, including people we agree with. We're becoming so bothered by every little slight. And don't get me wrong, there are definitely a lot of people and a lot of demographics that tend to be more guilty of it than others. I'm not discounting that, but I think COVID broke society. We've become so isolated, and COVID combined with wokeness, we've become so isolated and so ready to react to every microaggression that you can't just fucking be cool with people. Anyway. Shoban says, it's the sociopaths I'm done with. Synagogue of Satan, you know them. Yeah. Okay, so let's get back to the tax on tips stuff. So there's that. But there's one person that doesn't like the no tax on tips. And that's the CEO of McDonald's. Let's hear what he has to say about the no tax on tips.
The issue with no tax on tips is it only benefited those restaurants that have tips. So right now there's an uneven playing field between if
So let your fucking employees get tipped, you dumb shit.
you are a restaurant that allows tips or has tips as part of your equation, you're essentially getting the customer to pay for your labor, right, and you're getting an extra benefit from no taxes on tips. The issue with no tax on tips,
I mean, he's not entirely wrong. He's just an asshole. I have given several rants on this television show about my problems with the American tipping culture. Every fucking store you go into, somebody wants to turn that tablet around and have you pay 20% for bringing a fucking donut to the counter. But, I mean, McDonald's could implement that. No, instead you're implementing robots. So tell me how the fuck that's any different. You don't have to pay payroll taxes on a fucking robot. You don't have to pay fucking payroll taxes for a touch screen. Saying that it's not fair that the Applebee's down the road gets a little bit of a fucking tax break because they employed an actual fucking human being to come to your table and take an order. Meanwhile, at your fucking restaurants, we got to order on a goddamn touch screen. And we're lucky if someone can even bring the order to the counter in a timely fashion. Sangla says, while we're at it, let's have Chains list all the pesticides they require farmers to use on their ingredients list. Yeah, there's I always hear this. I guess there's a documentary that looked into McDonald's French fries. And I guess McDonald's has a contract with their potato farmers that require their potatoes to literally be so perfect that they have to fucking spray it with shit tons of nasty fucking chemicals and super GMO the fucking potato strains and everything else. Yeah, Demon's Wrath. Five Guys wants tips for to-go order burger shit that you collect. Well, this is another problem I have with tipping culture. I don't have a problem with giving Five Guys tips. But it needs to be like $1, right? This idea that everything's 15 to 22% and some places 25%. No, 25% should be fucking excellent service at a mid-tier restaurant. Right? The big tier restaurants, the expensive fucking restaurants, should have just a flat 20% added to your bill. Everywhere else, it should be performance-based entirely. So places like Starbucks, Five Guys, fast food, $1 at the most. I told you guys about the sausage roll at the donut shop. I think I've said that that story on the show before, but I'll recap it. A couple of years ago, I went to a donut shop in Missouri. I'm not going to name them. I'm not going to call them out, but I went to a donut shop in Missouri and I used my debit card and I ordered a breakfast sausage roll. They had pastries, they had donuts, and then they had these little pastries. And it was just like a little, almost like a, we call it a pierogi almost. It was just this little, just a sausage link wrapped in pastry. And I order one of these things. And I get the tablet, I swipe my card, and it comes up. Or no, I swipe the card, and then the cashier turns it around for me to tip. And the tip thing said 18, 20, 22, 25% on the screen. While I'm doing that, she reaches down into the cold case, puts the sausage roll on a plate, and hands it to me cold. And I'm like, oh, this isn't a hot dish? She goes, oh, there's a microwave behind you. There's a what? I just tipped you 18% and I have to cook it myself? Was my thought. I said nothing. But I haven't been back to that shop. So yeah, I think definitely tipping should be based on the quality of service and how much labor was involved. Hell, last week for Taco Tuesday, I go to this place all the time. Great place. A lot of friendly servers, but there's one server there that just, you're lucky to get your drinks before your food. And she doesn't bring the food out, some runner does. And then you're lucky to get a refill. And she will literally drive by, like a drive-by shooting with the bill, like just as she's running by. It's like, hey, can I get a napkin? Can I get a box? Nope. You're just gone. And so yeah, I tip her shit. Every other server there, I tip like almost 33%. I tip almost a third. Nope. She's lucky to get 15. Lucky to get 15 because she, like, I see her literally twice. She takes my order. She brings the drink. And then runs by and slaps the bill at the end of the fucking meal. Anyway, back to this guy. Yeah, fuck you, McDonald's. Another reason why I fucking just won't eat McDonald's. Okay, there was this chick. This is another thing I probably should have got into Wednesday. This chick here swears up and down. And I when I say chick, understand, I use that term very fucking loosely. This broad here. Sorry. This broad here. During the DC, we call it intervention by Trump and the National Guard, this chick decided to dress up in protest and got called out by the internet here. Let me go ahead and make that a little bigger here. You see anything wrong here? A DC resident shared this photo she took at Union Station yesterday. Looks like a scene from The Handmaid's Tale, but no, just another day of Trump's militarization of DC right now. A DC resident shared this photo. Okay, and then you look at these folks. You see if I can zoom in. No, it resizes if you try to zoom. Okay. Well, look at the owner of the Twitter account here. And then look at the lady in the costume right here. And then you say that's literally you. You staged a photo for your own shitty article. And then, of course, you have all these people clowning on her. We should stop abortions. You want to rape me? What? You want to imprison me and put me in a costume and impregnate me? Everything, like literally. It's so dystopian that I put on a costume and acted oppressed. See, yeah, there you go. Shaban says, why do they all look the same? Yeah, that's been a point of controversy because she's denying that she's the person in the photo. And the evidence that she has for denying that she's the woman in the photo was that she didn't take the photo herself. Well, of course you didn't take the photo yourself because we can clearly see your whole body in the photo and the camera is not in your hand. Michael Malice. Every woman who complains about The Handmaid's Tale in public fingers herself to 50 shades of gray in private. You got this person. I'm just going to point out that in this popular cosplay, they're always the ones in red that are forced to mate with the high-value men in society and never the sterile, sexless ones in gray that clean the house and walk to the grocery store. God love the Handmaid's Tale protests. Everything is oppression. Okay, well, I think I've pretty much gotten close to exhausting the topics. So let's go find a Love Don't Judge. Boom. All right, let's go to videos. Okay, don't want the new ones. I want to get a little bit old here. Okay, so we're right around here with the ones we've been. Here we go. Pregnant by a man twice my age.
This is 30-year-old Mindy. She fell in love with 60-year-old Larry. When Larry and I first got together, I was very aware that Larry
Hey, Mindy, when Larry kicks the bucket,
could not have
hit me up.
children because he did have the vasectomy over 25 years ago, and I was okay with that.
But just before their wedding, Mindy had second thoughts.
It's like, oh my gosh, what if I do want children?
Larry took up the challenge, but their journey to conceive hasn't been easy.
Oh no!
With numerous rounds of IUI and IVF.
I decided to do the pregnancy test at home. We're pregnant now and expecting a baby.
The couple shared their news online, but received a lot of hate because of their age gap.
He's going to be dead in 5 minutes. Why are you having a baby with this old man?
Oh, that's so nice. The grandfather came to his graduation. Where's the father?
Are you very hungry?
Sure.
Okay. Would you like some apples?
Sure.
Hi, my name is Mindy, and I'm about to have a baby with my husband, Larry, who is 30 years older than me.
We met each other when she had a minor traffic crash, and I was the responding officer to take the report for the traffic crash.
Here you go, babe.
Thanks, Mink.
We fell in love, got together, and it just felt so natural.
What? Your old ass was a police officer?
And lovely, but we definitely didn't expect it. We weren't looking for it.
Oh no,
When
not
Larry
Times
and
Square.
I first got together, I was very aware that Larry could not have children, and I was okay with that. And then about a month before the wedding, I was like, oh my gosh, what if I do want children? I have to tell him before we just get married. I have to let him know.
After initial concerns of not being able to have a biological child, Larry agreed to try.
Fellas, look, I'm all for getting a vasectomy if that's what you really want in life, and I'm all for getting a vasectomy reversal if that's what you want in life, but don't do it for a woman. Don't do it for a woman.
Try for a baby.
Do not let doctors with knives near your manhood for someone else. Just don't do it.
Knew that we couldn't naturally get pregnant because Larry did have the vasectomy over 25 years ago. After 3 failed IUI procedures using donor sperm.
Oh, Sangla said when she was a minor. Did I miss that? Did I miss the math? I think I missed the math. Okay, because I just assumed this was like semi-recent. Was this more than 10 years ago? She's 30 now.
Our fertility team really pushed us in the direction of IVF. And so we dabbled down that road and decided to use Larry's sperm and have our baby together. It is a very pricey procedure. And then you're putting your body through a lot of hormones to be able to get pregnant.
A lot of painful injections for her.
Which he had to administer all of my shots. So far, we're checking my bladder to make sure it's full.
Oh
it's
no!
Full.
Vlogging your IVF.
Yay!
3, 2.
They always got to be content creators.
Is that it?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Around Christmas time, I decided to do the.
Hey Charlie, I got an idea. You should rear in this fucking young chick, and I'll respond to the call and get her pregnant.
Pregnancy test at home, and we laid it on the table after I had, done the test, and we flipped it over together and looked at it together.
Oh God, please. Oh my God, it is!
2!
Lots of dance together. And
Yeah, who the fuck calls themselves a minx? Yeah, that is kind of fucking weird, Demon's Wrath. Showball. Puking money?
We're now pregnant, and Harry and I are having a boy.
It's a boy.
Thanks, babe.
You're welcome.
I really don't think I get judged too much about the age gap relationship from family and friends, but online, still definitely sometimes you get the judgment.
Well, okay, so yeah,
The
you
new
put it
judgment
online,
that
you're
we
going to get it.
Since we announced that we were pregnant, is that it's a very selfish decision on our part because Larry, and I'll put it in quotes, will obviously pass away before the child grows up because of the age.
Yeah, dude.
People at his graduation.
In in 10 years, you're not going to be able to change a tire yourself, much less show some kid how he's going to be able to change a tire.
Are going to think.
But then again, for all I know, we'll have fucking flying cars. We're not going to have flying cars. But for all I know, we can have flying cars and tires won't be a problem.
Oh, that's so nice. The grandfather came to his graduation. Where's the father?
Yes, script tattoo.
That before yawn.
Yes, if the tattoos have words, it's a big red flag. Big red flag.
Yeah, we've kind of heard it all, but...
Or he'll be dead. I might be. I could die tomorrow.
Our friends and family were so excited to find out that we were pregnant, and everybody's just been so sweet and supportive, and they're really excited to meet our little one, which is really nice. So this is where the baby's gonna be staying. And then we have the crib.
The crib.
As you can see, it is in a box. And Larry, do you so kindly want to build it for me?
I'll do it. We are so excited to have this baby together. Ready.
Uh-oh. Oh.
Thanks.
Yeah!
Wait a minute. What? Hang on.
It's not
hang
cooperating.
on.
Have a.
I gotta pause this real quick. How old is this video? 8 months ago. This video is 8 months old. And on her YouTube profile and Instagram profile, she calls herself a mother of 2.
A son who's 30 years old. And when he was growing up, I was on call 24 hours a day. And there was a lot of things I missed because of work. And I don't have that now.
Yeah, they did another
And Larry's
IVF
son
later.
Bruce just came down for a visit.
Mm-hmm.
And
No,
he's
not
very
twins,
excited
Singlet.
as well. And he's looking forward to meeting him once little one does arrive.
Yeah. He'll have a brother.
So it feels amazing finally getting to decorate the baby's room. For such a long time, it was a guest bedroom. And now we're finally here.
Wait, he'll have another one.
Finally getting to decorate the baby.
What was that again?
Came
I
down
missed
for a
that.
visit.
Mm-hmm.
And he's very excited as well. And he's looking
his
forward
kid.
to meeting him once
So he's got
little one
another
does
kid.
arrive.
Yeah. He'll have a brother.
So it feels amazing finally
Well, now
getting
he's
to
a
decorate
father
the
of
baby's
3.
room. For such a long time, it was a guest bedroom. And now we're finally here. It makes it feel so surreal and that he's due any minute, like he's coming. And that's very exciting. That's heavy. Is it heavy or is it stuck?
I think it's heavy.
Got it.
You know, Shaban, yeah, he looks older than 60, but you know that partying with Charlie Sheen and doing crack cocaine and having gay sex will do that to a guy. I'm just kidding.
I've got it.
Larry and I have never really talked about the problems of him being an older dad and what that could possibly mean down the road. We live in the moment. I mean, we're not naive, you know.
You know, Sanglant, I'm not going to fault him for that. Yeah, I agree. It does look like that, but I'm not going to fault him for that. That's just the natural state of a married man. When you have a woman in her element and she's on camera talking to other content creators right now, like she's got this producer of Love Don't Judge and they got the cameras up and she's in her element. She's talking to the internet. Sometimes it's just, if she's in her element, running her mouth as a loving husband, you just sit there and let her be this fucking star of the show. I don't always agree with that, but I can kind of understand where this guy's coming from with that.
In that way, but you can die at a young age. You know, that doesn't, to me, that, I don't think they sent instructions.
I think they're in here.
Oh, are they?
This is like an envelope, I think.
Just the fact that we know that Larry and I...
You can die at a young age. So therefore, get pregnant by old people so you could have an octogenarian trying to fucking chase a teenager around. Doesn't make any fucking sense.
We'll be able to provide shelter and love and food and safety. That's what's important to us. This is the part that's never easy.
Oh my
I have
God.
hardware.
Women trying to
Okay.
follow instructions.
This is in not English. Oh, there's an English version and there's a Spanish version. Okay, we got the English version.
Imagine that. They go,
So excited to be a first-time mom and so excited to have Larry by my side. And like he said, he's able to be there with me and help. And he's amazing.
Make another one of these.
Was it really Spanish or was it Swedish? You think they bought it at IKEA? Or did they buy it off of Amazon?
Sure.
Not 100%, no.
Because we have to be 100%.
Yeah.
Cannot mess up the baby's crib.
No.
That would be bad.
Oh my
Let's
God,
go.
he's having trouble reading the crib.
I'm not too sure about this.
I
He's
never
so
understood
incredibly
this.
smart and to be able to teach our baby amazing things. And
Maybe I'm just different enough and just autistic enough where usually these cheap furniture instructions don't bother me, but I don't get how so many people in our society have this big a fucking problem with these instructions. Now, don't get me wrong. I've seen some bad ones, some really bad ones where you're trying to read this graphic that is drawn poorly and they don't really give you actual instructions. But everyone always complains about them, and I don't understand what the big deal is.
history, which is Larry's favorite. The last piece.
You like?
Yeah.
Don't forget to add the choking hazard.
Plan to go back and try again
just
for
kidding.
our second baby and just raise our family.
Try
Good
to
job,
have a
eh?
second baby.
Thanks. Good
So
job,
yeah,
you.
we're
And
planning it
explore
already.
and have fun. It's just going to be such an incredible experience that we're so excited to do together.
Dear Lord. Okay, that's enough of that. All right. Yeah, that was the Love Don't Judge. Oh, fuck. I mean, there's lots of ways I could examine that. I honestly, my motto is outlast the haters, and I can't hate on them too much. If they love each other and they're going to love these children, make of it what you will. I just hope she's a good mother because let me tell you, man, when 10 years from now, he's going to be 70. And it's kind of hard for these 70-year-old men to be chasing around a 10-year-old. Yes, Sanglet says they've never built hobby kits or built anything. And Shoban says, I usually don't read them carefully. Then I'm left with extra screws, wondering if that was just extra. Well, yeah, but again, that's somewhat understandable for some people. But like, I got a buddy, like his dad, who's passed away now. Great dude. But his dad like gave up, got some like wood screws and just started drilling shit together. And then the shit wasn't stable at all. The furniture is just a weird thing. Like you got to get that shit right. RC kits are expensive. Give one to an 8 to 10-year-old and they'll never be that guy. Exactly. Yeah, maybe that's why for me, because when I was very young, I was real interested in the Legos, and the Legos had the thing, and I never had the expensive ones. Always like the 6 and 7 step. Nothing real elaborate. Well, shit, we got 5 minutes left. What should I do with it? I don't want to cut out too soon. Should I just fucking browse Twitter? Or is there something y'all want to talk about? Oh, by the way, yeah, I'm gonna little show note. Monday night, 5 p.m. Central. By the way, did you folks see my new what do you call them, thumbnails? Gonna be doing new thumbnails for the stream. Decided to finally update the thumbnails. It's still gonna be basic as shit and use the same photos, but anyway, Monday, 5 p.m. Central, going to be doing the some sort of documentary, some sort of Rumble exclusive stream. So if you're a Rumble Premium member, you can follow me there. We're going to be doing a few hours on Monday afternoon into the evening. Oh, here we go. Here's an interesting video. Not sure what we're going to do. I might try to find a documentary to watch, but if there's something that triggers me over the weekend, I might just do a damn rant stream. But I think for the guys that haven't had a good RC car, I might watch that in a second. Here, but first, let's watch this chick complain about one of my favorite words.
Word back. Is anyone else noticing that the R word is back? I'm running into it everywhere. Movies, TV shows, podcasts, real life. What's going on? With everything happening in the world, we're really adding this to the pile. What's happening? Public service announcement. Stop saying it. Stop saying it. It's never been cool. It's never been funny or edgy or interesting. It just sucks. And I can see how excited some of you are to be saying it again. No, you don't get to. It's not happening. Stop saying it. And even if you're not the one saying it, say something when it gets said. This is loser behavior. It's harmful. It's hurtful. It's dangerous. Take it from someone disabled. Stop saying the R word. R word back. Is anyone else?
I mean, Sanglance says it. Sanglance says it best. That's all I got to say about that. Sanglance says it best. All right. Yeah, she's quite tit-rarded. I'm on YouTube, so I can't say it. But yeah, she's tit-rarded. So I didn't get into the Department of War. Should I get into the Department of War? How do you guys feel about the Department of War? Trump has now, via executive order, here, we'll bring it up. We'll bring up the video here. Trump has signed an executive order renaming the Department of Defense to the Department of War.
Thank you, and it's an honor to sign this. And we will do that right now. I think that's a big one, I'll be honest. That's a big one. It's a big one, Mr. President. Thank you, and it's an honor to.
So I saw the cope. Like, I don't like the word war. I don't love it, but at the same time, I mean, it's everything I said earlier about the way language changed and the way progressives will abuse words like rights and healthcare and marriage and abortion, stuff like that. I kind of get it. And I saw some cope from we call him Sticks Hex and Hammer 666 earlier today, where he was kind of saying the same thing. He was kind of getting into this of, well, it's more important to use accurate language, and that it was the original name of the Department of Defense, and now it's back. And I kind of get that, and I kind of support that, but at the same time, man, there's just something about it that's like, well, yeah, but we want our war machine to be used to defend the country. We don't want to use it to spread military hegemony around the world. Yeah, Demon's Wrath, they should have done it earlier, like 2003. I mean, shit. It was more of a war machine then. Let's see. And then one last. Then they put a new nameplate on Pete Hegseth's door. Oh, and they changed his Twitter account. So here we go. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth. And then they show the nameplate on his office door being changed. I mean, this is just propaganda. Yeah, it never should have been changed in the first place. But again, like I said, it's the continued abuse of language by media and politicians. It just, I don't know. There's just something about it that does leave a bad taste in my mouth. I don't know why. I'll have to think about it. I'll address it on a future broadcast. All right, folks, I think that's going to do it for the show tonight. We are at the 2-hour mark, and I've got to go get myself some Culvers. If you can, please click that thumbs up button. If you're lurking in the background, by the way, if you are lurking in the background, cheers. Good to have you here. Take a second, come into the chat, just say hi. I won't from this point on, anybody that gives a hello, I won't do the whole spiel where I give you an audio sound effect and show your shit on screen. I won't highlight it. Just come in, say hi. But definitely the hello in the chat, being a unique chatter, now helps with the Rumble Creator Program. So if you could come in, just say hello in the chat. I'll ignore you and move on. I forget where I was going with that. Yeah, hit the thumbs up, hit the share, the like, the repost, any of that stuff. Please help spread the word about the broadcast. Like I said, we'll be back here Monday night for a Rumble exclusive special. I think I'm going to do every other week now. 1 week I'll do a Rumble exclusive on Monday. 1 week I'm going to do gaming on Monday. This week the Rumble exclusive's getting it. So my gaming stream will have to wait another week. Trying to think. And then we'll be back here for the Culture Plate show on Wednesday. Gonna have a new we call it a new thumbnail for it. Those of you on YouTube I changed the thumbnail for this past Wednesday's show to reflect the new Wednesday thumbnail. So yeah, got new thumbnails, going to be working on some new graphics and some new sound effects and other new stuff. Now that I have a little bit more free time, reducing how many nights a week I'm streaming. So yeah, folks, please do all the stuff. Links down in the description to my social media accounts. You can feel free to follow me on any of those. And I try to follow back if I can tell that you're an actual viewer or an actual human being and not a Twitter bot. So yeah, I try to do that. Let's go find someone to raid live here on Rumble on the live tab. Go to page 4. Actually, first let me check my feed and see if any of my good friends and family over on the Rumble are live right now. Yeah, here we go. Looks like MN Sunshine's got a paint. Paint? Nah, I think I'll go find someone on the live page. Okay, here we go. Live. It's showing DVR on my tab. Oh yeah, Yankee Freeze on with him. Okay, yeah. All right, gonna raid this big red one guy. All right, folks. So yeah, I'll catch you Monday. Until next time, take care of yourselves. Take care of one another. Outlast your haters. That's the important one. Outlast your haters. Don't get any on you, and if you do, rub that shit in real good. I will catch you next time on Mild's Culture Plate. Folks, have a wonderful weekend. Good night. Oh, yeah, rub that shit in real good.